There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Sammy Escalates the Hour. I'm your tech tonight. I'm Annie Dies a Lot. I'm going to go over a few things with everybody before the show starts to help it go nice and smoothly. Be patient with me tonight, you guys. It's hot where I'm at. Been lots of power outages. My computer won't even turn on. It's so hot. So I'm doing things from a different place tonight. All right, let's see. All right, very first thing, if you are here in the Zoom room, now's a great time to go ahead, turn on those mics and cameras, you guys. I can't tell you how much it helps the show when we can see your reactions and hear your reactions. Definitely helps out. I know it's the internet. I get it. If you want to keep them all off, that's fine. But you can go ahead, use that reactions button down at the bottom of your screen, and we'll still be able to see how you're feeling it, Feedback is great. If you're watching over on Twitch, you guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate all of you. If you want to come be here in the Zoom room, you're welcome to. Everybody's welcome to come be here. Just go to kocomedy.com, sign up for that email. You'll get the links for all of our shows. We have a show tonight. We have a show tomorrow night. We have a show on Sunday night. You guys, we have shows all the time. So definitely come on through. And if you're here in the Zoom room wondering what a Twitch even is, you can check them out. Twitch.tv/Comedy Hub. We're live streaming over there. And you can interact with the world's worst AI comedian ever over on Twitch. That's right. He's terrible. Just type in @LaughingLarryAI, followed by your comment, and you will see some of the worst jokes you've ever seen in history. So there's that. You guys, like I said, we're doing this all the time. So if you want to come hang out with us and see what's going on, you can check out our socials. KO Comedy Club over at Instagram and KO Comedy everywhere else. That's right. Let's see. What? Oh, yes. Okay. You guys, we do have some really awesome comedy for you tonight. Thank you so much. We also ask that you support the show. The best way you can do it is during Sammy's set and our opener set tonight. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop their Instagram handles. Give them a follow. See if they're going to be in a town near you. See if they have new content coming out. Support them. Also, you can just donate to the show. That's right. You can. We take, there it is. We take Venmo at KO-Comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching on Twitch, we take those bits as well. That's right. And we don't just take money. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a shout out right here on the show. I'm going to put your name on the donor board as a thank you. If you want to stay anonymous, just leave a note with it. Also tonight, you guys, because I'm having such horrible problems over here, I don't have access to the Venmo or PayPal accounts. So you'll have to actually DM me and let me know. So honor system tonight, guys, honor system. That's just how it's going to have to go. And there's only one more thing that I need for everyone to do. That's have fun. It's a comedy show. You guys are supposed to have fun here. So let's do it. All right. That is enough of me. Are you guys ready for an awesome show? Are you guys ready? I see a lot of heads nodding. So I'm going to go with you are ready. You guys, let's bring up your first comedian tonight. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. You guys, give it up for your opener. It's Janesh Ralan.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this show for a multitude of reasons. One, there's the most kafiyas I've ever seen in a Zoom room. That is tight. Let's give it up for that. Two, I love that Annie was like, "Hey y'all, put your cameras on, go off mute," and like three of you were like, "Yeah, we'll do that," and the rest of you were like, "It's okay. You'll get the essence of our laughs." And so, it's just I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be opening up. My name is Janesh Ralan. My Starbucks name is Abdul Ikbin Salim. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I am half Indian, by the way, both halves though technically, and it's a good time for us, dude. It's such a great time to be Indian right now because we have so many people of color advantages. Like we get to eat spicy food, we dance well, we're late to stuff, but we're also richer than white people now. Do you understand how dope that is, dude? The whites were so scared about Mexicans taking their jobs. We snuck right in, dude. Right? Because the media had them worried. The media had America worried. They were like, you better build that border wall, brother. You better make sure that border wall's built. You better build that border wall. And the whole time, you guys forgot about the firewall. And now we're out here, dude. And I gotta say though, it's it's nice to have that now. It wasn't always like that, if I'm being honest. When my family first moved here, we used to live in Texas, and after Texas, we moved to Ohio just because that's how my parents were making decisions at the time. They were like, "What if we took the racism of the South and added some snow? Let's see what happens." And we were living in Cleveland, which was very confusing because Cleveland used to have a really bad baseball team called the Indians. Did you all know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing some head nods. Guess what? Nobody told my family, dude. So we would just go around town hearing things like, the Indians are really disappointing. And then you turn on the TV and they're like, this is Mark from ESPN. And folks, this is not a good year for the Indians. I was like, you're damn right, Mark. We just moved to Cleveland, dude. And then we'd be losing in the playoffs. The team would be like just getting rocked, and all our neighbors would just walk around saying things like, it's such a shame that the Indians are about to be eliminated. I was like, yo, you guys are pretty nonchalant about this. A few months later, we found out they had a team named the Browns. I was like, all right, guys, we got to have a talk here. And it's I will say it was great to be in the Midwest for educational purposes. I learned a lot. I learned how much white folks love haunted houses. Y'all are in here. I know you do. It's spooky season, and I get it. You love haunted houses. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like it makes sense, dude. Because like life has to be really good for you to seek out fear, right? Like no person of color wakes up and is like, what today needs. More adversity. That's just not how it goes for us. And I will say, while that learning experience was great, I am happy to be in California. This is where I live now. I live in California. I love it here, man. I moved to California to work in tech because that's my birthright, And I used to work for LinkedIn, which is the #1 professional network, #2 Indian dating website, if you're not familiar. And it was fun. I'll be honest. I know tech has its own issues. There were certain things I really liked about it. It was hard for me to get the job. I'm gonna be completely honest. It wasn't easy. Simply like I struggle with interviews just because I'm very honest. Like I'm real honest with them. Like they ask questions. They're like, hey, what's your greatest weakness? And y'all tell me in the chat, like, what do you guys respond with? I know everyone has their own like canned answer of what their greatest weakness is. Someone told me they said they're too empathetic. I was like, to get out of here with that bullshit. They're like, I am 200, take on too much. Yep. People, I care too much. Get out of here. I'm pronouncing that wrong for sure. But see, this is what I'm saying. These are canned answers. This isn't honesty. Like when they ask me, they're like, hey, what's your greatest weakness? I look them right in the eye. I'm like, dude, I'm ticklish as hell. Okay. And the interviewer's like, what? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, that sounds like less of a weakness, more like something you're afraid of. I was like, no, what I'm afraid of is feathers, bro. What are we talking about here? It's like you see a pillow fight, I see a nightmare. Okay. But it was fun. I'll be honest. It was fun working in tech. I had a lot of young colleagues, I had a lot of Gen Z folks. I know some of you don't like them. Listen, I think you got to give them a chance. They're a fun little generation. They're active. They wear fun clothes. They're out here walking around in like painter jeans and mechanic suits, right? Like they're all dressed like union laborers, but none of them want to work. Like, do you understand how amazing that is? And I respect it because they don't fake it. Like I'm a millennial. I see a lot of millennials here, right? We pretended. We walked around with laptops pretending to work. Like Gen Z doesn't do that shit, dude. Like they don't even call them laptops. Like that's a vape charger to them. And you got to respect it. And I will say when I was in tech, like one of the things that stuck out to me was like the insane amount of wealth. I was surrounded by so many people who had made so much money. And it got me thinking like, I want to be rich, but at the same time, I know it's going to make me bad. Like even when I get upgraded on flights, I turn into a monster, dude. Like the air hostess is like, oh, you want more champagne? I was like, girl, I never said stop. Like just the worst version of me comes out. Like I walk into the plane like I'm Tim Walz. I leave like I'm JD Vance. And that's just the reality because money and power corrupt you, right? Money and power always have the worst incentives. Like you look at Boeing right now, like Boeing, the planes are falling apart and they're like, well, we could fix it, but it's cheaper to disappear the whistleblowers. So they're like, let's go with that option. And that's the thing, like, you got to realize that's just what money and power do. Like, I'm liberal. My friends are liberal. They think like you could just shame those in power. They post on social media. They've been posting about Beirut and Gaza. And I'm like, dude, the only thing that stops a bad guy with capitalism is a good guy with capitalism. Okay. Like, if we want to solve the Middle East, we got to call Boeing and be like, yo, Netanyahu's a whistleblower, dude. Hell yeah. I knew you guys would be along for that ride. Let's go, baby. I love it. I love being in California though. I like how ethnically diverse it is because we can openly talk about race. We realize we're all just a variation of one another. Like Cubans are just spicy Italians. Albanians are crystal meth Russians. And like Samoans are the final Pokemon in the evolution of Filipinos, Like if you force fed Bruno Mars long enough, you'd eventually get the rock. You know what I'm saying? I think you got to appreciate that and cherish that, yo. And here's what I got to say. I have to get out of here soon. Before I do, I want to just commend the guy we're all here for right now, Sammy Obeid. Sammy has been a great comedian since like before I started doing comedy. Like when I started doing comedy in the Bay, like his name would always come up. They're like, oh, you got to go watch Sammy. Like Sammy's really good. And so to see him getting all of his flowers now and doing so well and seeing audiences like yourselves turn out, because you're not just some dummies who want comedy. You want to laugh, but you're smart people. You're smart people who care about the right shit. And it takes so much more time to build something like that intentionality. So I want to, just shout out Sammy for having us here, doing his hours. And I want to shout you guys out, all of you sitting at home right now. You could be doing other stuff. You could be doing anything you want. And you guys are here because you're well-intentioned, good people. So thank you for coming out. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Janae Shralin. I want to kick it back to Annie, everybody.
Yay.
I'm muted. Here we go. You guys give it up for Janesh. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Buttons are hard. No, not ad spotlight. Janesh, thank you so much for dealing with me. There it is. There it is. Okay. Here. And here's me. I'm back. You guys, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Janesh. You guys, we are about to get to the man of the hour. But before we do, I will give you guys a reminder. Tonight, I cannot see donations that are coming in, but we'll still take them. And if you want to get shouted out for it, just let me know that you donated. You can send me a DM in the chat. I'm KO Comedy Annie. You can also send Comedy Hub a message as well. They can get that message to me. And the way you can donate if you want to, it's pretty easy. You guys, we take Venmo, there it is, at KO-comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching on Twitch, you guys, we take those bits as well. We do. All right, you guys. We all know why everyone's here tonight, so let's get rid of me. Let's get to the man of the hour. It's time. It is going down. You guys, give it up for the reason you're here tonight. You can see him on Netflix as 100 Humans. You guys, it's Sammy Obeid. Let's go.
Hey. Woo! Hello. Thank you all for joining. Hey, hi, everybody. Good to see you. It's hot where I am. I don't know if it is where you are. That is the only reason I would wear a tank top for this. Because we do have a formal dress code. You guys know we have a lot of rules here at the KO. Thank you all for Annie, we're recording, right? Are we recording?
Yes, maybe. We are recording.
Recording. Cool. I always gotta make sure. Thank you all for tuning in to Sammy Escalates the Hour. Who's been a longtime viewer of this monthly program? Who comes pretty often?
Me.
Thank you. And if you're on mute, you can talk. You can talk to me in the chat and stuff. First time, Kimberly. Thanks for coming. So I do this every month, and there's always a different name, a different theme. This is Sammy Escalates an Hour. No particular reason why I put that theme. I just kind of go with how I'm feeling at the time. But also specifically, if you did come to my hour exactly a year ago, in the beginning of October, the title was Sammy De-Escalates an Hour. So just want to make it clear that a year later, I've devolved as a person. But specifically, more specifically, actually, because I de-escalated the hour a year ago, I brought it down. I forgot to re-escalate it. So that's all it is. We're just taking that hour that I brought down and we're putting it up. Because maybe escalation is really just a tuning into a higher frequency. If that's a one way you want to look at it. But yes, here I am. Again, if you're a first time viewer, just always let you know, I don't use a lot of bright light when I perform. I prefer low light, because I look really good in low light. I'm a low light 10. I'm a low light 10. I'm a ring light 3.5. Come on, everybody. Just kidding. A ring's a circle. I'm a ring light 3.14. Everybody, heck, that was a mix up. My bad. And I read out of a notebook, but my handwriting is so bad, so I often lose about half of my material that way. And yeah, I can't even when I write like a to-do list, I swear every time I look at my to-do list, like at the beginning, at the top of it, I'm like, why did I write Todd? Who is Todd? And then I basically I don't do much because I don't know what I wrote down. But I am neurodivergent, which means part of my brain goes that way and part of my brain goes that way. If you're familiar with what divergent means, my brain has diverged in the woods. There's a famous quote, actually. Yeah, basically neurodivergent means that if you were to cut open my brain, that would be really messed up if you did that. Thank you all. But I do have a good memory, and that's why I'm able to do a new hour every month, because my memory is better than other people's. So it's not that I write a new hour every month. I'm just able to write at the rate that people forget. So a lot of longtime viewers, they come in and I do a joke that I did 3 years ago, but they didn't remember it. So I'm really just recycling. So if you hear anything like really topical, trust me, it's already happened a long time ago. Okay, cool. That didn't resonate at all, did it? I guess I want to start out by saying it is election season coming up, and I don't normally endorse candidates, but I would like to put forth a very clear, strong, confident endorsement of New York Mayor Eric Adams for president. No cheer? Seriously, no cheer? Not one cheer? Definitely not what I expected. Yeah, I mean, I just think that he's the best that we have right now, because he's willing to take foreign money for himself. And I like that. I don't know if you know Eric Adams, he took bribes from Turkey, but not in money. The country of Turkey asked him to not acknowledge the Armenian genocide on Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day. And he did that in return for Turkish sky miles. That's crazy. I mean, honestly, that sounds like something that I would do, because it's important. You got to travel. Yeah, I mean, I would say that sounds really bad. I would say there's a lot of things that are bad, and I would say that sounds really bad. I think the only thing worse is if he acknowledged to not acknowledge the Congo genocide in return for diamond status. All right, whatever, guys. You know what? Is this thing on? Okay.
I have it muted, my bad.
Thank you. Cool. No, I don't mind if you guys stay muted as long as you unmute at the end of the laugh, so I can know that a laugh was happening previously. That's all that matters to me. Cool. Are we having fun so far?
Yeah.
Good. I spend quite often oh my God. Oh my God! I guess whoever was laughing the most. I guess whoever was laughing the most.
Oh.
Yes, sucks. That's the one thing. It's always the person who is most engaged also creates the echo. So I guess I'll go back to performing in a silo. But yes, I often I'm a really fun guy, and I know this because I often ask my girlfriend, "I'm fun, right?" And she will pause for like 5 seconds and then say yes. And then I will proceed to asking her again 3 hours later.
Who's your girlfriend?
That's not that really has nothing to do with the joke. Okay. This joke is about me being fun. It's not about revealing the social security number of my partner. Okay. Did you? I mean, it's like, it's like if I told you a certain name, is it going to change the outcome of the show? Okay. I always, by the way, I mean, I make it very clear. My girlfriend may or may not exist. It doesn't. Whatever helps me sell more tickets. But the point of that, the point of that wasn't even the point of that joke is that I am fun, and I should not have to justify that I am fun. Okay. I am fun because I like math. Okay. And I tell math jokes. That is the proof that I am fun. Okay. Because I take math, which is inherently not fun, and I turn it into humor, which is fun. Okay. That makes me the intermediary, the fun part. Okay. I basically take math, the input, you can call it X, and the output Y is fun. Okay. It's a function. Listen, everybody. Listen, everybody. After that joke, you would believe that I have a girlfriend, wouldn't you? Cool. Cool. Math is cool. No, I mean, I think math is very important. I think math is an essential element to the truth. I think there's two elements to truth. Okay. Truth is it's a combination of math and what you're feeling. Okay. Has to be both, right? Because math is the only social contract that we have as people. It's the only one thing that we all agree is valid. Okay. But sometimes math might defy your feelings and sometimes math might make you sad. That's why feelings are also important. But honestly, if it were up to me, it would just be math and no feelings. But don't tell my girlfriend. Okay, guys, let's move forward. I think there's a lot of great things in the Constitution, but I think that we should change it specifically to life, liberty, and Wi-Fi. I think life, liberty, and Wi-Fi. I think those are now essentially the essential human rights that a person deserves. Everybody deserves life. Everybody deserves freedom. And everybody deserves water pressure. Okay. Wi-Fi. I think Wi-Fi is now a human right. You know basically the American motto is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't like that because calling it the pursuit of happiness is implying that you have to pursue happiness, like you have to go get it. Meaning default, you don't already have happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wonder why we're such a depressed nation and hooked on so many drugs. It's because we say that everybody has the right to pursue happiness because you don't already have it. How fucked up is that? Okay. You know that it originally was not that. It was Thomas Locke who said every human is given the natural rights of life, liberty, and property, right? Which is a little bit entitled. A little bit entitled, and then Thomas Jefferson was the one who changed that. He changed it on the fly. They say they're writing the Declaration of Independence, and he said life, liberty, and they're like, and property. He's like, nah. He's like, it's we don't want people to think that they can just have shit. So then he wrote Pursuit of Happiness, which which basically set us on a trend of depression for a very long time. So that's all I'm saying is if you're ever feeling down, be like, thanks, Thomas Jefferson. I was talking to this guy at a bar because that's the only place I would actually talk to people after shows. And thank you. And he was like, the United States. Can we moan elsewhere? This guy was like, the United States, we've won every war that we've ever fought. Yeah, I was like, did you just teleport from 1945? What generation? Not even 1945. America lost a bunch of wars before that. You basically teleported from 1776 when we were like 1-0. That was the last time of a perfect track record. And I was like, dude, we won all the wars. What are you talking about? What about Vietnam? He's like, that was a draw. I'm like, that's an interesting take. Who determines that? The UN? I'm like, what about Iraq too? He's like, well, that one started good. I'm like, oh, that's how you look at it. Okay. I'm like, what about Afghanistan? He's like, that one went on so long that it was a disqualification. I was like, interesting. I'm listening. I'm like, all right, lightning round. What about our proxy wars, Russia, Ukraine? He's like, that one's still in progress. I'm like, okay. What about Israel, Hamas? He's like, that one's not a war. That's a genocide. I'm like, you had me at genocide. And then I'm like, what about the economic war with China? And he was like, well, China already owns a bunch of land and assets in the United States, so it's basically China versus China. I'm like, mind blown.
It's
We gotta
India.
think, yeah, we got to think more like this guy. So, so speaking of escalation, we are in an interesting time right now where, anything could happen in the next few days that could, be a huge act of escalation. And it's probably going to come from the Western side. For those of you who haven't been following what's going on the last year, essentially, there's been a genocide in Gaza over the course of the last year caused by Israel, of course, after the October 7th attack. And no one is standing up for Gaza. There's been a lot of countries who say they might speak up for Gaza, but they don't actually doing anything. So the only groups that are effectively standing up for Gaza or actually taking action have been Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, which all start with an H, ironically or unironically. So you could call them Triple H. So there's a pro wrestling analogy here. It's been Triple H versus Israel, which is the Undertaker in this case. And there is the presence of American troops in the Middle East. Let's call them Stone Cold Steve Austin. But looming in the distance, you have Iran, who I would say is John Cena. And of course, you might have some newcomers to the region. Well, they'll be considered, I guess, like Logan Paul or whoever you want to consider. But don't forget, there's still ISIS. If you smell what Iraq is cooking. But of course, kicking back, from a distance, running everything is Vince McMahon, aka the United States. That's the thing that people don't know, that the United States is the most wealthy country in the world. So we have the ability to stop or start any war we want. We just like to create this charade to keep selling weapons. It's actually pretty disgusting. Like, for instance,
Thank you.
You're welcome. For instance, a couple weeks ago, Israel detonated a bunch of pagers and other electronic devices in possession by Hezbollah in public spaces, by the way, killing civilians, including children. And I was talking to this guy and he's like, yeah, well, the U.S. didn't know about that. I'm like, yeah. The U.S., like, if the U.S. didn't know that another country could just detonate pagers, that would happen. And we would literally recall every pager in America. Like, every doctor would be taking the night off. Nobody would mess with their iPhone. Like, clearly we knew, otherwise we would be totally scared to use our electronic devices, okay? America knows everything that Israel is doing because Israel is the 51st state of the United States. It's Area 51. It's where we test all our crazy electronic shit, like blowing up pagers. And this guy was like, whoa, you blew my mind. I'm like, yeah, I did it remotely. But yes, and so now there's been an escalation in Lebanon, and some of you might know I am Lebanese Palestinian. I've been talking about Palestine stuff for like the last year, and so people have been asking me like, wait, how can you be Lebanese and Palestinian? I'm like, how do you not know geography? But of course, I mean, the fact that I always talk about Palestine, you should take as the sure shot sign that I am Lebanese, because the Lebanese put their neck out for Palestine. So it's actually a blood thing. But the Lebanese, I will say, if you're familiar with Lebanon and how much they've been through in the last, few decades, extremely resilient people. Here's how fearless and resilient the Lebanese are. I still have a show booked in Beirut on October 14th.
Wow.
I myself am terrified. They have not canceled the show yet. Bro, I called up the promoter. I'm like, hey, man, so the show's obviously going to be canceled. Hope everything's okay. He's like, no, show still happen. Show still happen. Like, no, this area good. We good. Like, dude, it's like they will wait till like the missile is coming. Be like, okay, missile go this way. I think we good. The show still happen. I feel like I am a curse because when I was in the womb, my parents that was the last time they were in Beirut, and this was in '83. There was an escalation with a bunch of hostages and clashes with Israel, some civil war, like the whole sampler platter, and they got stuck in Beirut. And they came back to the States, and they said, we can't go back there. Like, we can't go back there for a while. It was too much trouble. And like, we don't want to put our kids at risk. So they told me, they said, we want you to go to Beirut, but we want you to wait till you are 18, wait till you're an adult. And so I turned 18 right after 9/11. So not great timing. Of course, I bleached my hair blonde, so I had frosted tips, but still didn't really help me get through the airport as quick as I wanted to. So I decided to hold off 4 more years, and I decided to go in 2005. I booked a ticket to go to Beirut in 2005. Now, if you're familiar with the history of Lebanon at that time, 2005 was a horrible year. As soon as I booked the ticket, Prime Minister Hariri was assassinated, and there was a full-scale escalation, and it was just the worst time to go. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go next year. And I booked a ticket for 2006. 2006 was another huge escalation, one of the worst years, and canceled my ticket. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to grow up more. I'm going to give myself another 18 years. I'm going to become an adult again. Book a ticket for 2024. And then literally a month before the show, the pager things happen. And then now it just keeps full on escalating. And the show's still booked, but we may have to do it on Zoom. So I feel really bad about that. But growing up, I would always tell people I was Lebanese, and they would make the same joke. They'd be like, "Oh, you lesbian?" I'm like, "That's really clever. Haven't heard that one before." It used to really annoy me, but then I realized, Lebanese and lesbian, we actually do have a lot in common. Right? Similar sounding word, we can be a little intimidating to some. We're great with women. And we love to eat. So yeah. Yes, Lebanese and lesbians, we have a special nod. When I see lesbian, I'm like, I see you. It's a little special connection we got going on. Actually, my friend, she's a Lebanese lesbian. Yeah. I call her Lebanon binary. All right. Good. Fun. We're having a good time. I was in Hawaii last month. I met someone who was like, yeah, my mother is Hawaiian and my dad is Muslim. I was like, well, aloha wa akbar. Yeah, if any of you tuned into my hour last month, I did it from Hawaii. That was fun. And, I really, at that time, I really felt like I was scrapping for like some fun stuff in the news to talk about. And then 2 days later, the debate happened. And man, we just should have scheduled it a little bit better. But that was great. I really enjoyed the last debate. They're eating the pets. Like, that's going to be funny for a while. People were very sensitive about this whole eating pets thing and saying that it, spreads a dangerous stereotype and it feeds anti-immigrant hate. I think we need to flip all that. Okay. I think we need to really ask the bigger question of what's wrong with eating pets. Because sorry, I know a lot of you have pets watching right now. If you can turn them away for this. Listen, we love our pets. We love some of them, right? But we all know somebody who has some pets that we don't love. Okay? Personally, I know some pets in my neighborhood that I wouldn't mind eating, whether they're an immigrant or a naturalized citizen. Why can't more naturalized citizens eat pets? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Haitians do eat pets, but if they did, I think that our citizens could learn something, and also like the whole thing about, like dissing eating pets. It's like, don't knock it till you try it, don't knock it till you try it. But yeah, I think if we learned when the debate was fun, because it was in the comedy world, we always have like this ongoing battle between sketch versus improv, right? Sketch is like, you planned it out, right? Improv is like, give me a topic, right? And the debate was basically sketch versus improv. Kamala was like, every line was like written, and Trump was like, what am I going to say next? I don't know, but I think we did learn that, if Trump was in office right now with everything going on, I do think he would probably try to resolve the situation by calling up Iran and asking for Abdul. Yeah, I don't know if you heard his whole thing where he was like, yeah, I hit up the Taliban and me and Abdul, we resolved the whole thing. And everybody was giving him shit for it. But then, like, if you Google it, you actually find out there is an Abdul in the Taliban. But also, like, why wouldn't there be? Like, not a bad guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, call up any organization, like call up any country, call up Yemen, call up Iran, call up Lebanon, ask for Abdul. They're all going to say the same thing. They're going to say which one. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, I don't endorse candidates. I don't. I do like Jill Stein because she tells the truth and she always sounds like she just smoked a joint. Like, the war machine, man, the war machine, stop feeding the war machine, man, break the two-party system, green. Kamala did an interview with Oprah. I believe the soundbite was, she said, if someone breaks into my house, they're going to get shot. Yeah. And then she said, unless it's Israel, in which case I'll give them what they want for their security. Oh. But there was a poll recently that said that 22% of Americans, only 22% of Americans trust the government in DC. My question is, who are these people? Who are these people, and what are they on? Because I want that. I want to trust the government. I really do.
I know, that would be so nice.
Wouldn't it be nice? But like, I like taking accountability. I think it's our fault as people. I think that our government, they really are worried about us. They think that we are too lazy and incapable to actually work hard enough to make our GDP good enough to the point where they don't have to steal resources from other countries. But I think that we all collectively, as the United States, as the people, we should all come together and just send a very nice message to the government, like say, hey, we're all willing to work 10% harder so that you don't have to start wars, And the government would be like, oh, they care about us, And I think that would work. But favorite president on foreign policy, George Washington. I think that guy had it down. He only knew of like 3 countries. I think that's the way. To do it. Okay, life, liberty, and Wi-Fi, guys. Don't forget. Life, liberty, and Wi-Fi. Okay, let's see. Where do I go after that? I had something after that one. I had a really good one after that one. But what was it? Where is it? Who am I? Yeah, I mean, these might not go in any logical order. I'm scared of bees, and I'm very open about that. I'm scared of bees because when my cat sees a bee, he does not try to swat it, which shows you that something happened. You know what I mean? Like, he'll swat spiders, he'll swat flies, but he sees a bee, respect. Bees, obviously, endangered species right now, very important to our environment. Because they go around and they collect pollen, and the thing about bees is they go from flower to flower. Like, they're not just sticking with one flower. They're going from flower to flower. And I mean, you know, if you're familiar with what pollen actually is, it's plant semen, right? It's plant jizz, for a lack of a better term. So they're literally going from flower to flower, getting plant jizz on their face. I don't make this up. This is science, okay? And I'm not going to make this bit any dirtier, but you could say it's be cocky. And okay, maybe that's not an A level joke, but it is my B material. Good, everybody. We're having fun. Good. Everybody. All right. I just keep seeing things on my list, and I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. Okay. Chata. Oh. Okay. So I guess maybe I can get a little more vulnerable, because people always ask, like, why don't you get more like vulnerable in your set? Okay. So I was trying to think, like, what is something that I could like share with the audience that is like very, not like a jokey joke, but it's like something real. And it's this like painful feeling that I have about not being a good person sometimes. So, like, for instance, have you ever rented a car before? When you rent a car, they give you two options. They say you can either buy their whole tank of gas or you can fill it up yourself, right? You're familiar with these two options. Obviously, buying the whole tank of gas, total fucking scam, right? Because they're assuming that you're gonna make sure you use that whole tank of gas. And then, like, if you don't really have anywhere to go at that point, you buy a whole tank of gas. You're like, well, now I gotta go like all around town because I bought a whole tank of gas. And then you like use too much, and then whatever, your car gets stuck somewhere. So it's a whole headache if you buy their tank of gas. So I always refill the tank myself. Okay, so they give you that option. You refill the tank yourself. Now, obviously, it's you have to add it to your checklist of things to do before you go to the airport, and like sometimes there can be a lot going on. And so I recently found myself pulling up to the airport, realizing I had not taken the car to fill up the gas. But I realized it's because I hardly went anywhere. I'd only driven like 10 miles cumulative. And so I had hardly used any of the gas, but you could see on the indicator, you could see that it was like a little bit below full, like just a little bit, like enough for them to be like, yeah, you went somewhere, or you didn't fill it up all the way, Problem is, when you do that, they charge you for a whole tank of gas. They don't charge you the differential. They don't say like, oh, you use $4. They charge you the whole tank. They're going to charge me $50. Okay. And maybe some kind of convenience fee or something like that. Okay. So my heightened senses kick in. And I decided the best thing to do in this situation is to lie to them. And so what I said was, I pulled up, and they said, okay, it looks like you didn't fill it up. And I was like, actually, I did fill it up, but for some reason, the indicator didn't go all the way to full. I even like tried pumping multiple times, and the indicator didn't go all the way to full. So I actually wanted to tell you guys about that. You should look into it. I don't know if it's an issue with this model or this particular car, but yeah, it's the indicator is broken. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. They felt bad. And that's when I started to feel bad. They're like, oh man, we're sorry, really sorry about that. Like, sorry you had to go through that. Like, it was so painful. I'm like, yeah, I know. I had to pump multiple times. When really I lied to them, and then they let me go free, and it never came back to me, except the guilt haunted me. And I know you're thinking like, oh, like, well, that, this is vulnerable, but it's not funny, but really, when you think about it, like, I literally gaslit them. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Can we take a quick break? Annie, can I get some water real quick?
Yes. If we said
You
no.
can. Guys, give it up for Sammy Obeid. He'll be right back.
Woo!
Right back. All right, you guys. Now I know I can't see donations tonight. I'm so sorry, you guys. But like I said, on our system, if you give a donation, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna shout you out. You can just send me a DM. That's totally fine. So here's a few people that have donated tonight. Here we go, you guys. Give it up for Abigail Hydrangea Brown, dropping $10 on the board. Abigail, thank you so much. You guys might be wondering, why is that a unicorn? Well, let me tell you, I have to use what I last used on my computer. I believe it was Pride Month. So everything tonight is rainbows. That's what's going on. That's right. It's rainbows tonight. So thank you so much, Abigail. You are absolutely awesome. Also, you guys give it up for Lisa A, dropping $15. Lisa A, thank you, thank you, thank you. See, more rainbows, you guys. That's I'm very limited tonight on what I can do. So yes, thank you guys so much. Like I said, it's on our system tonight. If you guys do donate and want to see your name up on there, or just want to get a shout out and still remain anonymous, just send me a DM, KO Comedy Annie. That's where you can find me. And let's see, there's that button. So yes, thank you guys. And Twitch, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you want to come hang out in here, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. It's pretty easy. Just go to kocomedy.com. Sign up for that email, and you'll get the link for this room and for all of our other rooms. You guys, we got some great stuff going on. And if you're here in the Zoom room and you want to go check out Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Comedy Hub. And for those of you that might not have gotten our pay options, we take Venmo at ko-comedy. We also take PayPal, kocomedyshows@gmail.com. If you're watching on Twitch, we take those bits as well, you guys. We take those bits as well. All right. It looks like Sammy is back. Sammy, are you in the Bay Area this weekend?
I am. Well, no, I'm actually leaving tomorrow to the East Coast.
Oh, but you've been living through the heat wave. Is it hot where you're at too?
I'm deep in the heat wave right now.
Jesus. Yes, you guys, give it up for Sammy for doing this tonight. It is hot. It was 105 here in Oakland today. It's insane. You guys, give it up for your amazing host tonight. You guys, we're going to throw it back to Sammy Obeid. Let's go.
Thank you. All right. I'm back here in the heat. Good. I think we only lost one person on that pun. That's pretty good. Pretty damn good. So yeah, where? Okay, I don't want to start with that one. I don't want to start with that one. I don't want to start with any of these. None of these are worth. This one. Okay, this joke. No. Nope. All these are bad. It's like, where do you? And then I have some ideas that I didn't end up writing the punchline for. This is more just like a thing that I know is funny because I found some old flyers when I started comedy. I was tutoring in the daytime, and I literally put flyers all around town to get people on board. And my company was named A+ Tutor. Which was really fucked up in retrospect because I don't think I got anybody past like a B-. That's a lie. But yeah, I've always known that, like, even, I really loved teaching math, and like even in my stand-up I like talking about it. And I think that, like, spreading math and love for math is, like, it does a good thing for, like, society, because, like, one of the biggest controversial topics in our country right now is abortion. And people are always, so there's people who, like, are against abortion. There's people who are, like, for abortion, obviously. I tell people I'm pro-choice. Obviously, I'm support a woman's right to choose. Like so much so, like if I get you pregnant, it's yours, right? But I think that like we don't talk enough about like what are good forms of contraception to like not get us there in the first place. And I think the literal first layer of contraception is saying I like math. You know. So I'm just, I'm just doing my part out here, I was getting into a conversation with a pro-lifer and they gave me this argument that I never heard before. And he was like, well, if people who are pro-choice are all about a woman's right to choose, what about a female fetus who has no right to choose if she gets to live or not? And I'm like, that's a pretty good argument. So then the answer to that is that we should only kill male fetuses. And then he started crying like Jordan Peterson. And that was the end of that. All right. Some of these aren't great. I wish I had more sympathy for dead babies. I really wish I did. Right, I do. It's just kind of hard, with our foreign policy. Right, too real.
Sorry, that took me a second.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I mean, if you watch that debate, like the most pro-Gaza thing anybody said was when Trump was like, yeah, babies should not be aborted in the 4th trimester. All right. Dark comedy hour. Anyways. Cool. Let's move forward. How did I get from math to that? Come on. I think we need to stop racism against white people. Who's with me? Oh, that one didn't go very far. I think we need to curb racism against white people, okay? Because if you listen to like comedy now or just hear like the media and the way we talk now, like white people are like the butt of so many jokes. Like if you look pound for pound, white jokes are like the most common race jokes now. And that's another form of white supremacy. So I'm just looking out. I can make that joke because I'm 1/8 white, actually. I'm 1/8. A lot of people don't know that about me. When you look at my family tree, I'm 3/8 Lebanese, I'm 3/8 Palestinian, and I'm 1/8 Italian from the ankles down. And then I'm 1/8 white. And that 1/8 white is really strong. No, I'm just kidding. It's the 1/8 white is actually traces back to the original colonies too. So which is great because like anytime anybody ever says like, go back to your country, I'm like, yeah, fucking the first 13 colonies, bitch. Where were you? I didn't know. Yeah, I found this out when I was younger. I asked my grandma from Texas. I said, tell me more about like the white side of the family. And she's like, well, your great grandfather fought in the Civil War. And I was like, whoa, no shit. I was like, what side? She's like, it doesn't matter. So let's just say, yeah, that's about as much as I know. But I will say that, that if I ever do get canceled, I'll start really playing up that card to do the alt-right gigs. So, okay. Let's see. I like that. Good. These things don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Oh, I had an idea for the border. Okay, because the border is such a hot topic. What if we just ceded some territory? Okay, like a half mile on the southern border, just like pushed back, gave up a half mile. In most of those places, nobody lives there. Well, you push back like a half mile, and then make that like a buffer zone. Like the DMZ on the south. but like it's still America, but like make the tax rate really high and make minimum wage very low. So that, but still better than any other country, so that people would still want to live there and more money is made off of it. That's to my Republican fan base. All right. No, I actually have a better idea. Okay. I have an idea because somebody was telling me that the most conservatives right now care about the border and most liberals care about climate change. And I'm like, dude, it's like the same problem. Like we have all the weather patterns in the United States. We just need to like mix them and match them around a little bit more. Like, you know, right now, the West Coast, like, where it's hot as fuck. We have a lot of sun. We get really dry. And so we have fire season, right? Meanwhile, the South is flooding. It's literally flooding every year. And then the East Coast gets frozen every winter. So, like, let's share the weather, okay? Like, we'll basically cover the West Coast in solar panels, you know, like, but like the parts we don't care about, like Fresno, Bakersfield, right? Just like cover them in solar panels. Like Nevada should just be one solar panel, like with little breathing holes for Reno and Vegas. You know? And then we conduct all that heat through a rod. We'll call it the Great American Hot Rod. People will vote for this shit. And it'll go to the East Coast and it'll melt their snow every winter. And then we collect all that excess water from the East and the South in a giant drainage system that takes it through a duct that runs along the southern border to feed our crops back here in the West. It'll be a duct and a border, right? So we're going to build a duct. Mexico's going to pay for it. It'll be a great border because, you know, if you want to swim across the duct, like, you deserve to be in this country. You know what I mean? Like, that's not an Olympic migrant. That's an Olympic gold medal swimmer, you know? I don't give a fuck how many pets they eat. That's good swimming. Anyways, I already got the motto: duct or we're fucked. But see, Brenda has to live, you know, in a world where she puts heat on, and that'll change. Okay, the Great American Hot Rod. Okay. So okay, cool. So there's that idea. And let's do. How do you I need to neurodiverge here somewhere. I need to pivot. Really, I think we should just replace all of our politicians with AI, right? Because they're already bought. Thank you. A+ tutor. I'm available for work. All right. When I started comedy, I put on a show at a pizza parlor. But the caveat was it had to be clean for kids, which was a total disaster. Because nobody likes clean comedy for kids, like not even kids. So it was just kind of it was like an uphill battle the whole time. And the first night we did it, it was so bad. I was up there really trying. And this 5-year-old kid started heckling me, telling me I wasn't funny. And like, you know, I was in a comedy club, so I couldn't be like, fuck you, asshole. You know, I had to be like, right. Hey, you're not funny either, or whatever, like a kid would say back. And then he kept interrupting me and being so disrespectful to the point where I was like, where are your parents? And then he's like, over there. And then he pointed to his dad, and his dad was this big ass dude, just fully tatted up and just like downing beers. And I was like, all right, where's your grandparents? And then I looked at his dad, and I was like, I don't want to say anything to him. And but I was like, hey, just sir, just wanted to let you know, we're trying to do a clean comedy show for kids here. We want this to be the best show for everybody, but your son keeps disrupting. If you wouldn't mind asking him to not disrupt anymore. And then his dad looks at me, and he was like, hey, do you know Chata? And I was like, Chata? No, I was like, no, I don't think I know. He's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh.
And the crowd goes crazy. It was like the funniest thing they'd heard all night because they just needed one F-bomb. That's all they wanted. They just wanted one F-bomb. It was so fucked up because now the show's not clean anymore and it's not my fault. So like I saw the owner in the back just like shaking his head, you know, and that's your customer. He's eating your pizza. Okay. Your pizza made him say fuck. Okay. So I really at that point I had nothing. It was literally like it was such a painful moment in comedy because I had nothing. I just felt disarmed. The guy told me to shut the fuck up. You know, and it's always like here's the thing about being a comedian. It's like as you become a better comedian, you have to go through many, many nights where you realize what you should have said like 3 hours later. You know what I mean? But like I had no rebuttal. I was just like, well, thank you, sir. I don't know Chata. I should have played along with it. I should have yes-anded it. You know what I mean? I should have been like, how dare you? Chata is my ex-wife. She cheated on me while drinking spiced rice milk. That whore Chata. Yeah. Said that it would have been clean, man.
I see.
Thank you. But yeah, that show, they pulled the plug on that one pretty fast. Unfortunately. Yeah. Staying here in Fremont right now. I like staying here because we have a nice yard in the background. It reminds me of like a very European yard. My yard is so European, it's a meter. All right. Hey, all these are worth trying, right? It's all worth trying. Okay. If you got a problem with anything I say tonight, you can ask me if I know Chata. Cool. No, I don't like that. I don't like that one. Okay, I'll do one dirty joke. I don't understand why men are so into swallowing. Because I don't know, what is that supposed to signify? Like, oh, my partner is willing to eat our children. How's that supposed to be hot? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, it's like terrifying. You know, it's terrifying. Like, you always hear, like, occasionally hear that story of like the woman who drowns her kids in the tub. That woman swallows. But all that said, spitting it out is somehow even more disrespectful. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is the most humane thing to do is coming on. Whatever. This doesn't fit my set right now. The point is, the point is, let's talk about terrorism. All right. Oh, did anybody experience Hurricane Helene? Helene?
My friend did.
Yeah, are they okay?
They barely have a road to get home.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's I know some people out in the affected areas. It's really bad. Yeah, it's crazy. Like Hurricane Helene, it's killed like I don't know, something like 150, 200 people. It's displaced hundreds of people. And the United States still hasn't called it a terrorist group, and it starts with an H. Like, what's going on? Isn't that crazy? Anybody starts with an H is basically demonized right now. Of course, the Triple H groups, Helene, and then the Haitians. Like anybody with an H. but yeah, I don't like the word terrorist. You've heard my take on this before. If you've, seen me talk about this before, I think it's a racist word. It's used pretty much exclusively on, brown people, Arab people, because you never hear the word terrorist liberally applied when like white people commit a mass slaughter crime. Like anytime there's like a white person doing a mass shooting, like no media throws out the word terrorist like they do when it's done by like someone who's brown or Arab or Muslim. You always hear like, what do you hear? Like, oh, they were a lone wolf, or, mental health. Let's talk about it, which is like, great. Yeah. Like, let's talk about mental health, but you never hear mental health being talked about for like Middle Eastern terrorists, right? Like nobody's ever like, Osama bin Laden had a lot of mental health issues. September is now Mental Health Awareness Month. Like, no, you never heard anybody do that. There's like documentaries like looking into the mental health of Hitler, but like not one like inquiry of like, was Saddam Hussein on antidepressants? You know what I mean? It's fucked up. But yes, terrorist is a racist word. And and that's the crazy thing. It's like Israel used that a lot when they do like an attack, like just like with the pagers. They blew up the pagers in public areas, killing civilians, and they're like, "Oh, we get the terrorists, the terrorists." They always say it like kind of like a toddler, like the terrorists, the terrorists. And it's like no, it's like you didn't target the terrorists. You killed civilians. You killed children. And yes, I don't like children either. Okay, but like they deserve to live. Like yes, children can like come in a room and tear it up. They can be little terrorists. Okay, they can be little terrorists. Okay. But yeah. It's a label that's used to basically justify bombing people. And if you for a moment think that there is a civilized way of blowing people up, you're a fucking psychopath. Okay. And see, like that, it all comes back to mental health. But yes. No, I've noticed I answer questions differently now, like than I did a year ago. Like I remember like a year ago, if somebody like people would say things to be like, oh, like tell your buddies in Hamas to bring the hostages home. And like back then I was like, that's like so fucked up that you like just say, I think that any Palestinian like knows or is connected to Hamas. But like now, like, my videos have been so circulated, they're like, I probably do have a few followers at Hamas. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not like on the front side, like the back office. You know what I mean? Like tech support Hamas. I mean, like the IT division Hamas. You know what I'm saying? But like people stigmatize resistance. They call it terrorism. When like if you look at like the Geneva Convention, gives people hacker Hamas. I like that. The Geneva Convention basically says explicitly the Palestinians have the right to resist, and it's encoded in a Western. It's a Western doctrine. You know what I mean? And then obviously, we as Westerners can criticize how people can and should not resist, even though we're not in their shoes. Like, like obviously, I don't endorse. I'm against the violence. I don't endorse killing of civilians. I cry when insects die. Okay, so like that's my position. Of course, I don't support things like shooting up a music festival. It's fucking horrible. Like maybe if it was Burning Man, but like in any other situation, like I do not endorse that. But people try to stigmatize you if you support people's natural right to life, liberty, and Wi-Fi. And so, but at the same time, you can get doxxed for saying shit, and like, if you're familiar with Palestinian resistance, there is now an international symbol for it. It's the upside down triangle. If you've seen it, the upside down red triangle is the symbol for Palestinian resistance. And they're even starting to flag people who have that symbol and calling them terrorists and stuff like that. So I'm a little more coy with it. I realize that if you look at a red heart emoji, and you can see some here in the chat, you look at the bottom of the heart, it's an upside down red triangle. Okay. So if you split the heart into two parts, you have the top of the heart, and then you have the lower part, which is the upside down red triangle. And so that's why now I answer the question differently. Like back in the day when people asked me, like, do you condemn Hamas? Like, it was just such a racist question, you know? But now people will say, like, do you condemn Hamas? I'll be like, from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
But people criticize my comedy. They say, like, Sam, you always say pro-Palestine things, but like you never, why can't you just say bring them home? Why can't you just say bring the hostages home, bring them home? And I'm like, dude, what? Just scroll down my feed. I've said it many times. Like I have no problem with saying bring them home. And I make it very, very clear. Like, I want all hostages to come home. Nobody should be a hostage. That includes Israeli hostages. That includes the thousands of Palestinians being held illegally in Israeli prisons. Bring them home. Okay. And while we're at it, all the settlers in the West Bank, okay, who are squatting on Palestinian land illegally, bring them home. Let's bring them home too. Yeah. Yeah. Bring them all home. Okay. The astronauts at the ISS, bring them home. Okay. And this is more of a broad generalization, but if you have had a falling out with any loved one who identifies as non-binary and they're now out in the street somewhere, bring them home. Okay. Bring them home. Okay. Get it? Them. All right. Cool. I have a friend who's trans who I hate. Not because they're trans, but because they're a Gemini. Okay. I call her Two Spirit. All right. Too much, too inside knowledge, too outside. Inside, outside, where am I? Where am I? Am I inside or am I outside? Am I inside? I'm outside. What did I have to finish this one off? Anybody have any requests? No? Oh, we only lost 3 in this last half hour. That's a record for me. Moo dang. Is that something I'm not familiar with? More astrology.
The hippo.
More astrology. You know I can. Socks and sandals? Oh, socks. Oh, yeah. Some people wear socks in sandals, right? Let's talk about that. That is something. That is something that needs to be talked about. So first of all, how does that work? I mean, I actually, one time I saw a guy wearing socks and flip-flops. I was like, how do you, like, if you want to wear socks and flip-flops, you should cut a hole between your big toe and your, right? So you have to like basically cut a hole. Like, so basically there needs to be special flip-flop socks. But I do see people wearing socks and sandals, and it's just kind of like, make a choice, you know? Are you relaxing? We call them slippers in Hawaii. What do you call them? Slippers. You call socks slippers?
Flip-flops.
You call flip-flops slippers. That's true. Actually, that's true. That's true. I realize that because every time I go visit my family in Maui, they're like, you left your slippers here. I'm like, no, I didn't. Well, you know, that's why they often say, like, when a politician like goes one way on another issue, they call them flip-flops. But now I'm just going to start calling them slippers. You're slipping. Okay, so that, more astrology. Any Libras here tonight? No Libras? Libra season? What's my sign? I'm Aquarius. Okay. Do I have anything to say about India? Good things only. Good things. Is there anything I should know about India that's going on right now? Did anybody see? Oh, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He's obviously like losing it more day after day. Do you see the time when he was supposed to bring up Modi from India, and he was giving a speech and then he stopped. He's like, am I supposed to bring someone on? Who was it? And then he literally had like a brain lapse for like a few minutes. And then the Prime Minister of India, Modi, like one of the most powerful people in the world, had to shamefully get up and be like, yeah, it was me. For anybody who doesn't like Modi, which is most people, it was really, really nice to see that. It's funny that Biden is like, he's not even a president anymore. He's just like a really bad comedy MC. He's like, wait, who am I supposed to bring up next? Crazy. We gotta get him on the show. Indian Joe. Okay, give me one more request. Taking requests. Because I can't read whatever else I have here. Any other requests? Come on, people. Chata. That's why we're in such a mess, and that's it. We're out. It's crazy. We gained someone at this hour. It's crazy.
Yeah. Someone's birthday.
Putin. Oh, it is Putin. Putin is actually a Libra. I remember looking this up. Whose birthday is it? Guess someone's birthday. Okay, you guys want to see me fuck this up again? Okay, I need somebody new, somebody brand new. I'm gonna guess your birthday by asking you 8 questions or less. Who wants to play? Say aye. Okay, I see some. All right, I see some hands. Okay, who thinks they were first? Okay, all right. Yes, you sir in the green shirt. Hold on, how do I get it? What is like new Zoom? I still don't know how to know. I know how to use like 2020 Zoom. Like I don't even know how to go to gallery mode. Okay.
So that's at the top.
Above chat on the right.
Oh, view.
Should say view.
Got it. That was way further than it used to be. Okay, that's better. New Zoom, guys. Not my thing. Okay, so who thinks they were first? Who wanted to go? Now nobody wants. That. Who wants me to try to get? Who said that?
Allie.
Okay, Allie.
No.
Allie, brave soul.
Yeah.
Okay, Allie. I'm going to ask you 8 questions, and I'm going to tell you what your birthday is. Okay.
Okay.
Were you born between January and June? No.
No.
Okay. But by the way, my second follow-up, no, that was not a question. Okay.
Okay.
Were you born between July and September?
Yes.
Okay. Happy birthday, by the
Questions. Oh, thank you.
way. Good. We're at 2 questions. Yeah, somebody has to keep track. Okay. Were you born between July 1st and August 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Were you born between July 1st and July 23rd?
Yes.
Look at me. I have good intuition. Were you born between July 1st and 12th?
No.
Were you born between July 13th and 18th?
No. I think that's 5 or 6.
6.
Can somebody tell me? Are we at 5? Are we 6? Or does it even matter?
That was
Brittany's saying 6.
Were you 7? Really? That's a bit high.
6.
No, 6.
Where is it? Okay. Were you born between July 19th and 21st?
No.
It's 18th.
Were you born July 22nd?
No.
Were you born July 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. 8 questions. All right. That was the first time I did it correctly in the last 3 years. All right. Well, I feel victorious. Amazing. Amazing. Cool. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end on a high note. I think any more of my jokes would bring down my confidence. So I hope this was fun for you. I'm fun, right? Thank you. I hope this was fun. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Or come say hi if you come to a show. Love you all.
Love you.
Love you all.
Thank you. Give it up for Sammy Obeid, everybody. Fantastic, you guys. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming out tonight. I am going to give a couple of shout outs to a few of you. Let's see. I think I hear an echo. Let's fix that. Boop. All right, you guys. Give a few shout outs to those of you that also donated tonight. Let me find the right button. Here it is. Ooh, buttons are so fun. Let's go back to the board. You guys, give a big shout out for Anna. Thank you so much, Anna, for dropping $10 on the board. We appreciate it. Also, you guys, give it up for Lauren. Lauren dropping $10 as well on the board. Lauren, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Also, we all know her birthday now. You guys, give it up for Allie dropping 1616 on the board. Allie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And also, you guys, Kimberly dropping $15 on the board. Kimberly, thanks so much. If anyone didn't see your name up there, I'm so sorry. I didn't have access tonight, you guys. It's so hot in the Bay Area that my office was 120 degrees this afternoon and my computer will not turn on. So things happen. But yes, you guys, we will definitely see you on the next one. Thanks for coming out. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you later.